Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Very good. How about yourself?
Doing good.
How did you go into the paranormal?
Everything's been rough here lately. The COVID has sort of taken its toll on my family, and I've been in quarantine for the last few weeks.
That's not great, is it?
No.
How are you adapting to this COVID practices?
Um, the mask and the 6 foot doesn't really seem to bother me. Um, but just as far as getting out and doing anything and um finding places that are open and those kind of things are a little difficult at times. How
Yeah.
about yourself?
Well, we can't do much over here because we're in the same position, which is
Yeah.
terrible, really. Um, but that's COVID. COVID didn't want to be here. They brought it here, so that's
Yes,
mental.
sir.
So where are you based then? Where are you
Um,
originated?
we we are based out of Fayetteville, Tennessee, um, in the United States. It's a very small town, but we are right on the border of Alabama. So we have some bigger cities down south and north of us.
How's the coronavirus there then, where you are?
We have in our county, it's probably 30,000 people in the whole county. And I think the last numbers I seen was maybe 4,000, 4 or 5,000 individuals. I think just in my city alone, we've had 60 deaths over the last couple of months.
Oh. Um, so if you had to, go back 5 years, what would you change? What would you change?
I think if I could go back 5 years, I think not not taking the little things for granted that we do on a daily basis. That's sort of been taken away from us now. Um, especially just going to town or you know being around family for holidays, those kind of things. I think just not taking those things for granted.
Yeah. Um, so if you had to go into time travel, would you go in 10 years into the future? If you did, why would you?
Um, I think just the fact I probably would just for the curiosity of how 10 years from now is going to be. Um, just in my life, 10 years ago was totally different in my life than it is now. So probably just for the common curiosity of what it would be like.
Right answer. So what videos can we expect to see then? Are there going to be any videos upcoming, or is this COVID practically put a stop to it?
Apologize, I had somebody calling in. There are some videos. I'm working on a video now that I did. The evidence was from maybe December, I believe, from a local cemetery here in Fayetteville, Rose Hill Cemetery. I've been working on that. It just takes. I didn't realize how long it takes to edit videos and do videos through YouTube, but I know I have three on there now, three short videos, and how much evidence it takes to make a complete video. But probably in the next couple of weeks, I'll have that video uploaded to YouTube.
What's your upload strategy at present? Is it twice a week or?
I've been focusing on once a month just with my schedule. I do a lot more on Instagram, Facebook, those kind of things. This started out as just a private Facebook page that I started, and I got some good responses from that. So I went on to Instagram, and now I'm trying to move on to YouTube.
How did the 931 paranormal, originate? How did that name was in
Oh,
circulated?
the 931 is our area code for Southern Middle Tennessee, where I live. I thought for weeks on a proper name, and I come up with several that just some sounded all right, some not so much. Um, my wife helped me try to come up with some, but they were a little girly, so I'm like, ah. So 931 just seems simple, and it's where I'm from. It's where we're based out of. So that's how that came about.
Oh, well, it was quite unique, isn't it? A unique name, 931 Paranormal. You know, it is all right, but it's just rather unique, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Um, so how did you start off with YouTube then? What made you upload your content to that service? Would you want to do it years back if you could?
Yeah, it was something I always wanted to do. Never thought I'd be that great at it. And I'm still not that great at it. I'm still learning. Um, but I think it was just a push from friends and family. You know, they really enjoyed my Facebook page. Um, a lot of people seem to enjoy my Instagram, so it was just a push from that to try to get up. It's a little difficult to go from Facebook and Instagram straight to YouTube, but hopefully it's a work in progress.
Are you considering getting a website for your branding for people who don't have social media access?
I have looked into the website. I actually started creating one on the Wix website creator, um, but I just haven't paid to get the domain name and all that done. But I am working on that on the website.
Would you do any merchandise or would you do any sort of or books or blogs into the
Oh,
time where most
I am
people want to
currently
see?
I am currently working on like merchandise, some shirts. Just I would like to try to do some giveaways on Instagram, that kind of thing, and for the local people around here that support our group. We do a lot of private residence investigations that I can't post. There are some businesses that I do that don't want the publicity of their establishment being haunted. So um, we do have a lot of local support. Um, so I am working on the shirts. It's just me and my wife making them at this time, so it's a little slow, but I'm trying to do it by who wants them at the time. Excuse me.
Yeah, but if you get a high demand and you can't live up to that demand, how would you then know how many to make? You know, you can't really put a number on it, do you? Because you don't know whether you don't know if 5 people buy it, you don't know if 10 people would want it. You just can't put a number on that.
No, it'll be difficult. And what I wanted to do was sort of as far as the shirts and the hats and anything that I can make. Um, I sort of wanted to put the places like different places people are from, different states, different cities, different country, those kind of things. Um, so it would be really difficult if there was a high demand to keep up with that. I believe just if doing it just me and my wife.
Um, so what locations then are you planning on going to, when the COVID allows it?
Well, recently I've been to the most recent was the Thomas House Hotel in Red Bull in Springs, Tennessee. Um, it was rebuilt in 1927. I did a little bit of video there, but not enough really to make a whole YouTube video from. Um, but I think some of my dream trips in the future that I'm trying to plan would be like Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Savannah, Georgia, has a lot of haunted sites, and New Orleans, Louisiana would be a dream trip of mine that I look forward to. Maybe in the summer that I can make it there.
Yeah. Um, have anything went wrong then on the investigations, or have you generally felt nervous about starting paranormal in case you get the wrong
Uh,
attention?
yes, definitely. I believe anytime that we investigate some of the tools that we use, I believe it can open up to positive and negative energies. Um, there have been a couple places. There's a local cemetery in my county where I live, um, and a lot of the cemeteries that I investigate, you have a welcoming feeling. But this one particular one is just as soon as you get out of the car, you feel sick, you get a headache. It's just like something doesn't want you there. Um, so I go there periodically, but I try not to make it an every week or every other day thing to go there to investigate when I can. Um, but yeah, definitely things go wrong at times. We have an abandoned hospital that I go to. For some reason, cell phones and cameras and those kind of things just doesn't they don't stay charged in that place. So sometimes it's difficult to get the evidence on camera um, or audio just because of trying to keep everything charged and that kind of thing. But yeah, there are a lot of times that I feel the negative too in certain places, and it does make you nervous.
Have you got any collaborations then at present, or are you looking for people to collaborate with?
Yeah, I'm currently looking. We I do work with local groups. I have a group that I ghost hunt with periodically, Southern Ghost Hunters and Paranormal Investigators of the South. Um, and we sort of try to help each other. It's hard sometimes to get permission to go different places, and we don't want to trespass. We don't want to break the law. Um, so we try to work together in the places that I find that I try to pass along to the other groups. But anybody that wants to come along, I'm willing to take with me, and I appreciate the help.
Well, you're going to need the help more than ever when you start going up
Yeah.
the
Oh
ranks.
yeah. Yeah.
It's one of those. Have you got like a passion drive and start earning off what you do? Is that sort of something that you would want to achieve at some stage?
At some point, I would like to. Um, I believe you're at. Am I earning any money or anything now? Is that what you?
No, I mean, would you like to earn off what you do? So, say getting paid that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. If I could ever do this full time, that would be the perfect scenario. At this point, I'm not at that point where I can do it full time, but yeah, that would be great.
About this sentence, you've got to put the hard work in to get good results.
True. Yes, sir.
So, what's your opinion on fake content? On people making fake content?
Um, I don't. Um, I think it makes us all look bad. Um, Especially when you do catch something that's real or unexplainable, or because you have people out here that's faking it for viewers, and that's not my goal. To get viewers from fake content. And I believe some people believe that's the only way that you can get the viewers. And um, and my stance on, I know there's a lot of people on YouTube and social media that go out and debunk things that people videos and things of that nature. And I think that's great because without debunking the stuff and finding other explanations, then we don't know what's real and we don't know what is actually there.
Would you like to, be in a podcast, or would you like to be, or have your own podcast show? Would you like to do that at some stage as well, or is that not something you are interesting at the
Yeah,
moment?
yeah, I think it's very interesting. I think it's great what you do. Get to meet different people, get to talk about different things. I think that's great. And if you love something like the paranormal or those kind of things, and getting to meet different people in that kind of realm, I think it's a great thing. Yeah, that would be something I would be interested in.
Well, I'm based in the UK.
Yeah, I would like to go there one day, but I hope I get the chance one day.
Well, would you like to travel internationally then? Would you like to, go around the world?
I would eventually, yes. My childhood, I didn't get to travel a whole lot, even in the United States. So since I've been an adult, um, I've tried to travel all over the United States, trying to get to different places, see different things. Um, but eventually, I would like to see different countries. Never been out of the country.
How do you beat your rivals then? How do you beat, those competitors who you were trying to get noticed, but it's not exactly working out? How do you try and beat around the curve? Because as everyone knows, every single team that does paranormal is failing getting noticed. So how do you up the stakes each time?
I believe just putting more content out there, um, trying to find the time and the content to present to the public. Um, it is a very difficult thing because there's a lot of paranormal groups around the world. There's a lot of people that do these things, and I think just trying to keep up with the content and keeping up with the workload, I think is number one.
How do you make your team unique then, compared to the other paranormal teams around the world? How do you make yours stand out?
Well, I see a lot of teams that they have, psychic mediums, those kind of things. Currently, I don't have anybody that we don't claim to be, psychic or talk to the dead. We just try to capture the evidence. And I think adding that to my team would make it a little more unique. So, having those kind of things, that tool to work with, and that person to work with, I think would make it a little more unique.
So on your next video then, what can we expect to see? Or what can the viewers
Um,
expect to see on your next one?
the next video that I'm going to put out is the Rose Hill Cemetery video. I do have several EVPs captured on audio. Um, several pictures. Nothing really, no apparitions, but just pictures of the cemetery in general. But it's basically going to be a video for EVPs, the voices are called.
Um, so where would you like to see yourself in about 10 years' time now? What sort of what have you got any targets you'd like to reach on a personal
Um,
scale?
I would like to be able to. I've really enjoyed Instagram. I would really like to bump up my followers on there, and definitely YouTube. I would like to in 10 years hopefully say that I can make money from doing YouTube and the paranormal investigations. That would be my dream goal.
Yeah. Well, you get there. You get there by your own work. Because believe it or not, hard work gets you there.
Yeah,
I've been on YouTube for 4 years. I wish I could say that and it happens to me. It's looking a bit unlikely. But believe it or not, when I'm doing the podcast, I've done it since November, and the pace is slightly picking up. So that's
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Have anything went wrong on the investigations, or have you had like wrong attention on an investigation, or even forgotten equipment?
Um, oh yeah, definitely, definitely. That sometimes you're thinking about how you're going to get to a certain place or who's all going or that kind of thing. So yeah, things go wrong. Uh, I've went to investigations and forgot recorders, cameras, that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, things like that do happen. Um, and it's those times that sometimes when things do go wrong that you tend to have a little more activity sometimes, because they know you can't capture them on video or audio.
So what would your approach be on trolling?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What's your opinion on people trolling or trolling behavior?
Trolling. Um, I believe everybody has their right to have opinions. Um, not everybody agrees with what we do. Not everybody um, believes it. There's skeptics. There's things of that nature. But I believe even though you're entitled to your opinion, that sometimes it can get to a point where it's like, you know, you probably just need to leave well enough alone and if you don't enjoy something, don't watch it or if you don't believe in it, um, sometimes it's best just not to comment. You'll get a lot of things started.
Yeah. How did you spend Christmas last year then? Was it quite unusual compared to your normal clientele?
Oh, definitely. We It was just me and my immediate family, just me and my wife and kids. It definitely had a different feeling about Christmas. Usually we have a big get together, dinners, and those kind of things, and um, it was definitely quite a different feeling and a different way to go about celebrating our holiday.
Yeah. Are you adapting then to this COVID? Are you doing other things that you wouldn't normally do just to try and tell the viewers that you are still here and doing content in this unprecedented times?
Yeah, I try to. It's hard. It's been hard to adapt. Unfortunately, I have to say I have adapted to a point. Staying in a lot more, which you would think would give you a lot more time to work on things as far as social media and things. I try to post. My wife stays on me. She says you need to post a lot more. You need to post, and I agree. Just sometimes life gets in the way and it's hard to do. But um, but yeah, definitely, it's been very difficult for me to adapt to this, and stay on track for my goals.
So what would you do then if trolls were to troll you for no reason whatsoever and just cause a little bit of hatred? What would your approach be to handling that sort of inconvenience behavior?
Um, I've experienced some already. A lot of times I just on social media kind of aspects, I just sort of ignore it or block it. Because I believe a lot of negativity can affect the whole group of people, can affect the whole um, whether it's just not wanting to get on your content because they're afraid those kind of people will be there. I have blocked some people that just wouldn't let up, but that's sort of my approach to it. Either ignore it or block it so it's not there.
Um, on the trolling behavior that you have experienced then, was it, quite severe or just your normal clientele?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't too awful bad. It was just um, you know people mainly um, wanting to question things and make fun of what I do, um, but nothing that was just like jaw dropping.
Well, that's
Uh,
good then.
you know, yeah.
So what's your advice then for people who want to start off YouTube but unsure how to do it? What advice would you give to those people who was probably bored and want to do something?
Um, I think it's a great thing to do. To me, it's taking some time to learn things. I've started out with really short videos, um, just trying to get the aspects of it, correct. Um, I don't want to put something out there that just makes me look, like I don't know what I'm doing at times. But so I think just sticking with what you can do at the time is a great piece of advice. I'm not trying to do too much at once, just, especially when you get started. Um, the social media thing, the whole social media thing is something newer in my life in the last couple of years. And I think just not trying to overload yourself with too much at once is the best piece of advice I can give to anybody.
Yeah, well, that's really helpful because most people don't know where to find that starting point or whether they should because of all the trolls and inconvenient behavior.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, so would you like, to be on TV, or would you out of the choice of being on TV or being a social media regulator, which job would you prefer?
Um, I think the social media aspect would probably at this point in my life would be where I'd want to go. I don't consider myself a very uh, visual person that maybe could entertain TV. I don't know. I think maybe with the paranormal would be a little different. Um, of doing something that I love to do, and I think we're all trying to learn and explain what's out there with the other things that are out there that we can fully explain. So, but I think the social media aspect would probably best fit me at this point.
So if somebody came up to you with a TV contract, you say, "I don't want that. I want to be a social media regulator and Facebook CEO."
Uh, it would be hard to turn down. It would be difficult to turn down.
So you would accept it at the spur of the moment.
Yeah, yeah,
What was that? What
probably.
was that one? What was that? Was a one-off opportunity?
Can you repeat? I'm sorry.
Was it that was a one-off? Like you would never have that opportunity ever again.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my volume up here. Having a little difficulty here. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So what's your favorite talent then? What talent do you have? That's better compared to the group members.
Um, I think my biggest talent is being more social. Um, the other guys that I work with, they tend to be more behind the scenes kind of folks. Um, they don't really want to be on camera that much. They don't want their voice to be heard that much. But I think that's my biggest talent is the social aspect. I can talk to individuals and um, especially the ones that need help that have negative energy in their residence and things of that nature. I'm more of the talker and the social person in that nature.
Is the coronavirus over there quite severe then, as a whole? Is it quite, not out of the woods all that, or is it still quite vicious?
Um, I think it's getting some better, but I think a lot of individuals are letting their guard down and trying to get back to a normal way of life, and I think that's what's keeping it spreading around our communities. Um, just here locally, the schools have went back in full session, and I think that's sort of gave a little rise to our numbers. Um, so I think maybe we'll see a little more of it if once these individuals are trying to get back to a normal kind of life that we used to have.
Would you film other content besides ghost hunting? If you could, if you could rewind what you did, would you think you'd have an interest in other subjects, or did you have an interest and then it just fiddles out, or or just was the main staple for a long while?
Yeah, just the paranormal thing is just something that I'm interested in. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head that anything else that I would do.
Would you do music
But
reviews or sabotagery pranks?
um, I do like the prank videos. And I also do like the dumpster diving videos that people do, like oh my gosh and those kind of things. Um, I would probably, if I try to do it around here locally, I would probably get arrested for the dumpster diving thing. So I'm maybe not that. But I do enjoy those other kind of videos. I'm not. I like music, but I'm not a very musical kind of person. So um,
Have you been on
I don't
any
know. It
podcasts
would.
prior to this one?
No, I haven't. I haven't. This is my first one,
That's the same with other
and I
YouTubers. I
appreciate you
get in touch
inviting
with
me.
them. I get in touch with them and they'd be delighted. And then when I ask them if you had any other podcasts, and said, "Oh, you're my first one," it's been the same for a few. I am delighted to, pick a name out of the hatchet and and have them on the show because it's great that they're actually getting some attention and getting their brand known, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I appreciate it so much that you've had me on here.
It's absolutely no problem. Um, so what is the side hobbies then? What would you like? What do you do to relax yourself? Or do you ever have that time to relax, or has it always been constantly researching and preparing for that next filming committee when it's safe to do so, of
Um,
course?
yeah, when it's a normal week, I probably do paranormal investigation maybe every other day. I try not to make it every day because at times it's sort of draining. But just about every other day, I'm somewhere doing some kind of investigation on a normal basis. Um, but yeah, I do like to watch football on TV and those kind of things just in my downtime. But on a normal basis, there's not much downtime.
Is the supermarkets gotten busier there then, as the town centres got busier than normal, considering people want to get a little bit more just to spend 10 minutes not in the house, for example?
Yeah, at times it's real busy during the day. Like our local Walmarts, they close, I believe, at 10 o'clock now. Those times have changed periodically, but yeah, during the day is almost a madhouse to get in there to do your shopping. I do a lot of the online grocery pickup, those kind of things through Walmart.
Were there any setbacks then at all in doing what you like doing now? I mean, would you have done it sooner if you could? I mean, have there been any setbacks prior to doing it now?
Yeah, I think the biggest setback is I do several investigations on my own without the rest of I only have uh, three active members other than myself, but I do a lot of the investigations on my own too. Um, I think at times it's excuse me, excuse me, I'm getting over this corona mess. Um, I think the biggest setback is finding people to stick with it. You find a lot of people that get interested, especially during Halloween, those kind of times. They're really into it, and then next week, then they don't want anything to do with it, or they get scared, or those kind of things. So I think that's been the biggest setback is just finding people to stick with me and to support what we do on a full time or partially full time basis.
To help you then upload material to your channels, if if you ran out, for example, would you then maybe put up a public appeal saying, if you send in your footage, you get half the credit? If people, say in France, for example, could go out anytime, anywhere, would you ask for the public help really into assisting you into it, or do you think, it's better off me doing it because it's original, all that sort of context?
Um, I think put your content out there originally is probably the best um, track. But I also if I get this website fully, I'm open to anybody sending me anything they want to send, and I enjoy watching it just as much as I like capturing it. Um, but I think both ways would work. But I think original content is probably the best way to go.
Yeah, because if it's not original and if it's not your own work, people think you're stealing from them.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely.
um, so if YouTube then didn't exactly work out and it was kind of a slow snail, would you like abandon that sort of thing? If your social media pages would get more popular, would you balance the books and think, if it's not getting me to a level that I anticipate, would you then start, de-escalating what you would normally do and move it to a different location, for example?
Uh, yeah, I think that's happened to me to a point already. YouTube's really slow when you first start out. And like I say, I get a lot more followers and stuff on Instagram, that kind of thing. But I think what I'm going to do to maybe enhance the YouTube thing, maybe do more YouTube live videos, so I'm not having to capture evidence. It takes time to capture evidence. Sometimes I go to a place 15, 20 times before I can catch anything. Um, it just depends on the day and the time, how active it is. So I think I'm going to start doing more live videos on YouTube and things of that nature to sort of enhance that as well.
Yeah,
But I don't think I would fully abandon.
would you do live events though as you're getting more notice? Because, for instance, if you're doing a live stream, say weekly, for example, at the current statistic, you are at 19 subscribers. You probably
Yeah,
might only get one viewer because the other 18, it could be ghosts. They could just press subscribe and never return again.
yeah,
Which happens a lot. I've got 285 people subscribing to my main channel. I've got
yeah,
about 6, 7 viewers, probably one viewer by the end of the show. So
yeah,
I'm trying to think, well, where do this 285 subscribers come from if I'm only getting six? I tend to think, well, this is slightly a little bit weird, isn't it?
yeah, definitely. I've noticed it on YouTube and and somewhat on Instagram. You might wake up with on Instagram, for example, you might wake up with 30 new followers, but by the end of the day, those 30 are gone. Um,
All those 30
and then
don't
you're
show any
left. Then
inactivity.
yeah. Um, so
Um,
yeah, go
oh,
ahead. I'm sorry.
all right. So when we
Um,
when we're starting off, then starting off doing the paranormal, what sort of equipment would you recommend? Would like the basic sort of equipment would be the best, like just a phone and a torch, for example?
yeah, I'm a real simple paranormal investigator. I don't spend thousands of dollars on, a hundred
Electronic
cameras
apps.
to set up or anything. Um, so I think just basic. I use my phone a lot. Um, I use the Necrophonics app on my phone, my camera. I do have a video camera, just a basic video camera. And then the only other things I use is I use a audio recorder. Nothing special about it. It's just a basic audio recorder. Um, and then we use EMF meters for the electromagnetic field to sort of find where the activity is in a certain place. But that's really all we use. Like I say, I don't spend thousands and thousands of dollars like some groups to do it. I think sometimes simple is a little better. I think sometimes if you put too much, um, it's hard to keep up with what you capture, and you have so much to go over.
So what's your opinion on the necrophonic app? Do they notice? Do they work to how they should work, or have you found that they are a little bit, you know, corny for the price that they charge for an app? Say a necrophonic app could charge
Yeah,
£10. Would you risk £10, but knowing it won't give you the results you require?
yeah. The Necrophonics app, I've had some luck with it. I wouldn't say that every time I use it is something, but I think a lot of things like that fuel the energy in an environment. I think because I have used the Necrophonics app and would capture voices that are behind that. I think it fuels some of that, but I don't think necessarily that it's um, putting out their messages all the time that go coincide with what you're trying to do. Um, I think if you wanted to save your money, I think just a basic audio recorder and that kind of thing. And if location's truly, if a location truly has paranormal activity, I think you can catch something that way.
When is the time that when is the best time to go out and explore? Would it be daytime or nighttime?
Um, there's a lot of different theories to that. A lot of people believe 3 in the morning is a time to catch um, paranormal activity. I've heard that. I've heard different things. I believe if a place is truly haunted, you can catch activity there day or night. I go to a lot of the cemetery in the day, um, catch things there. Um, but nighttime is a little. It just creates a little more spooky environment, I believe, and um, to a lot of people. But I believe daytime or nighttime or either one are good if a location is truly haunted.
Would you set up a donation page so people can give you funds, for example, to help you with your journeys, or do you think that's not really necessary?
Um, at this point, just the places I go, and financially for myself, probably not necessary at this point. But eventually, if I wanted to do this full time, that would probably have to be a, a road that I travel down. I haven't done it yet. I've just been mainly the places I go. I just pay out of pocket myself. But to do it full time, on a weekly basis, yeah, I probably would have to
Do
go
you
down
find
that
it
road.
do you find it stressful though, considering you want to do it, but on a monthly target isn't exactly a lot for viewers to expect. If you think of it in a year, it'd be like 12 videos in a year. That's not exactly the right consistency requirement. At best it should be once a week, or the latest it should be once a fortnight. Because if you notice it statistically, if you carry on in that sort of narrative, you're going to be releasing 12 videos a year.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just
Definitely,
not
I
what the
really
youth
do.
is.
Yeah, I think providing that content on a regular basis is the best. I'm going to try to get to that point. Right now, I haven't been able to, but yeah, I agree. I think that's probably the best way to go about it is putting that content out there on a more regular basis.
I would just, try and de-escalate from that monthly into a fortnightly, because then that way you're doing 24 videos a year, which isn't a lot if you compare it to, in that sort of region, but it's better than the 12 because I could be a subscriber and I could be watching one of your videos, say, on the 29th every single month. It's not giving the fans what they want,
Yeah,
considering that you want their support. It's like saying you want my support, but you do videos once every 2 months. Yeah, you're asking quite a lot if you
yeah,
get it on that sort of basis.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And like I say, these three videos. I think my last video was probably um, a month ago or a little longer maybe.
Yeah.
Um, and as far as YouTube goes, I don't think that's going to get me ahead anytime soon. But I'm going to
YouTube
definitely
isn't
try to
there to
get more.
cheat the system for you. They're not going to bump it up to 119 subscribers. If they did that for every
Yeah,
single creator, they wouldn't be doing the hard work. I could join the service and do
yeah,
the hard work for me. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
So what motivates you then to work hard, considering the amount of pressure that you are with work and other commitments? Do you think you need to let off steam at one point because it's overboiling?
I think so. I think what motivates me the most is just I think once you capture a piece of evidence of something that if me and you are investigating a cemetery and it's just me and you, and we catch a voice of a child or a female voice, and I think that's what motivates me. Is just the more I capture, the more it motivates me to do more. But there are times, like I say, that these paranormal investigations, especially something that more of a negative energy, drains you, and you have to find a way to get over that and to get back out there. Um,
How long do you
but
spend on an investigation? Have there been, a 24-hour nightly stay on investigation? If you have, are you, have you got like, winter coats? Because I'm guessing, in this current climate and, if you have done investigations prior to this COVID being around, have you been fully protected? Because if you've got coronavirus, as you said, you are fighting it, do you think that's quite of a conundrum if you want to get back out on the road knowing what you have faced doing that sort of thing?
yeah, definitely. And that's what sort of set me back in the last couple of months. I've been exposed to the coronavirus twice, so I've had to be under quarantine, and I actually just now am getting over the coronavirus myself. Um, so just trying not to be in contact with a lot of people. Um, I have driven out and by myself and walked around places, but it's been very difficult to try to get out. But yeah, normally in investigation, normally I stay 5-6 hours at a place, depending on how much time I'm allotted by the owner or that kind of thing. But not many 24-hour investigations have I done. Um, a lot of the private homes of people, maybe 3 or 4 hours at the most.
Would you do any like any backstage videos so well viewers doesn't know behind the camera? Would you do any funny moments or some sort like that so people who are new have something funny to laugh at and think, well, they are a great team and what they do, I'll support them. Because if you don't really say a Q&A video, for example, people isn't going to know anything about you. They could be thinking, like a newly content creator with no ambition, with no compassion in what you want those viewers to support you for.
Um, yeah, I think those kind of videos would be great. And I think that's why I agree. To come on the podcast. I'm I've sort of been a little leery of putting my face out there, but at the same time, I believe it has to be done for people to know you. Um, I
Would
started with the podcast, so I'm going to try to get my face into more of the videos and more of the background things that we do.
Yeah, but you must think if I got you can't do half the job. You can't have your voice in a video and not your face. It's like it's like you can't walk without your socks on. It's almost the same as you can't talk without your mouth wobbling. you
Yeah,
know,
definitely,
you,
definitely,
you
David, I
can't you
agree.
can't do 40% of the work. If you're not the 100%, then this role that you set yourself out and the branding is not for you. I
Yeah,
understand you want to
definitely,
be,
definitely, I agree.
incognito, but if somebody contact you like I have, thinking, can I have you on a podcast? I think, well, I don't really show my face. It won't bring the right
Yeah,
message, would it? It won't bring that right frame of mind, is it? Because you're offered, a, a, a vacancy to appear on a show to advertise your brand and other things, and turning it down, it's going to cause mass complacency for you because you're not going to get that time again. So it's important that you accept every vacancy that comes to you because if you want to get a notice, these little steps will help.
yeah, definitely, definitely, and that's what I've come to find out. So even on my videos, I'm going to try to be more out there and put myself in those videos um, and say more things of this nature to get my face out there because I believe every brand needs a face. So um, I think it's important. I
If
agree.
you set the team up, and if you're the boss of the team, you've got to be a face on the team. You've got to speak on behalf of the team, if nothing else, because whoever set the channel up is whoever should be in charge of the interviews and everything else like that. Because without you doing it or without anybody else doing it, who's going to be doing these interviews is something that you want to think about.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Um, so will you hire then any members to join your team? to like help you out a bit, so then you don't feel the full stress level of doing that monthly target.
Um, I believe eventually, yeah, that would be a way to go. Like I say, it's hard to find people to stick with something. If there's at this point there's no money in it. So it's hard to find people to stick with something that with no monetary value. But
It's
um,
called McDonald's every 2 weeks for doing a good job.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I wish I could find more people that were motivated just because they love the paranormal, but it's been difficult.
So what do you think is a priority? Filming the video and giving 100% each time, or 110%, or do you think the most time draining is the social marketing? So you put in like have you done like any sort of smoke effects or something to make the video stand out so viewers expect a little shock, you know, of because when you do
Um,
paranormal, the
I
shock is going to be the crucial part of watching it.
I've thought about it. I think the effects, the little effects that I've used so far is just computer generated. But yeah, I think those kind of things would definitely boost the quality of the video.
Yeah, because if you don't give them that little whoosh, it's like watching Piers Morgan do like a carpool karaoke or James Corden doing the Late Late Show. If you don't give them that
Yeah,
whoosh effect, people are thinking, well, I've watched 10 minutes of this
yeah,
video. Where does it get fascinating? You know what I mean? It's like having like watching paint to dry. There's nothing really fascinating. That's how when you go to paranormal, you gotta make sure, am I gonna be the right person to do it? Am I gonna make the videos outstanding? Because there's gonna be a lot of teams, e.g. oh my gosh, CJ Faison, they've nailed it. It's up to the
yeah,
small
definitely.
paranormal to get on top of that each time. So you gotta live up to that
Yeah,
demand. Otherwise, you'll be at the last of the pile. That's how YouTube
yeah,
works,
yeah, definitely.
Unless you impress them, you're not going to get anywhere. That's where hard work
Yeah,
kicks in.
definitely.
And the
Yeah,
worst part of it is that the audience don't leave you any comments. So um, it's like you got to do the work 150% each time. You got to do their thinking. You got to think, well, after a month, this is not successful. What do I do next? You always got to be thinking outside the box, inside the box, thinking, well, what's going on here? Because nobody else is going to help you that. That's how it gets more
yeah,
draining
definitely.
and more tiresome.
Yeah.
But what is your biggest fear then? Have you had a fear that you've knuckled through, e.g., going on roller coasters or something like that?
Um, my biggest fear is definitely I can't do any kind of heights. Um, that I have to say anything to do with being real high up. I just you spoke of roller coasters, those kind of things. I don't do those at all. Um, but that's my biggest fear in life is just the heights. Um, um, I think there's a fear with everybody, the fail, of failing what you're trying to do. Um, but I agree that the hard work and will pay off eventually, hopefully. And there's things that you need to change in life that especially in the social media world um, that to get more successful in. But um, failure and heights, I think, are my biggest two fears.
Um, would you get that, an opportunity then for audience members who might be a fan of your work? Because 19 subscribers, you could have 5 fans of them. Would you do like I don't know,
Yeah,
like a little meet and greet event or something like that, or like a virtualized live event on Zoom or like this, where I don't know you can make a digitalized ticket and they pay a fiver to have a chat. I mean, most Facebook groups I have seen are doing that sort of thing. Is that something that you would do as well?
yeah.
Because if they're doing it, you're gonna
Oh,
think, well,
yeah.
lockdown is driving people's crazy. Let's give them something to watch and virtualize way.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd be way up for doing a like you mentioned earlier, Q&A and to meet different people and get their opinions on my work and and their opinions on the paranormal. I think that'd be a great way to reach out to folks.
I know you like the paranormal, but you gotta do the side videos to get noticed. You gotta you got to tell them about yourself. I know it's boring, but people might like the videos and keep it as that. Some other teams do it as well. But like I said, it's all about putting that there. And if you think that Q&A video would be essentially a demand, I think you should do it anyway because on the statistical side of things, that could be the first video people see, or like a channel intro. You don't
Yeah,
necessarily need to do a 5 minute quiz about yourself, because most people find that fascinating, most people don't. You got to live up to the change of YouTube. So you got to make like classy intros, classy outros, make the videos inside out, you know, notch it up 20 times harder, because paranormal
yeah,
is you've got to give them a whoosh. You've got to give them some sort of shock, because otherwise people would watch it for the first time and think, well, this is getting a little bit better compared to 931's channel.
yeah,
You got to pay. The work does come harder to get viewers attraction. It's not really a 5 minute job. If it was, everyone around the globe would be doing it as a way of getting noticed. So when you do it, you've got to
yeah,
know your competitors, beat them, and get noticed that way. It's like a map, a constant map.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Um, if you could choose to be anybody for one day, who would you be? Would it be like a famous celebrity? If you could be the celebrity for one day and they be you, I think you probably would choose any celebrity for that day.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Just anyone,
Uh,
Justin Bieber for one or something of that kind.
Probably if I had to choose one, I would probably choose if it had to be, an actor or a celebrity. Um, it's a hard question.
Would it be
They
Jimmy Fallon?
probably, excuse me.
Jimmy Fallon? Would you want to be Jimmy Fallon?
Oh yeah, that'd be great. I think the talk show would be great. To get to meet all the different people and to talk, and to entertain in that nature. Yeah, I think that would be great. I'm not much on the actors really. Acting sort of not my forte, um, but yeah, being a celebrity for a day, I think the seeing how they have to live everyday life would be a learning aspect in itself.
So do you collect anything then, or do you do any? Do you do it? Do you collect, or do you do comedy impressions? So what do you do? Even both? I'm curious to know because most people who live in the United States have that good impression. Have that good comedy impressions.
No, I don't do any comedy impressions. I think something I have seen lately is a lot of people doing the impression of the guy on the Sling Blade movie. I enjoy those. But I do collect like old beer and whiskey memorabilia. Close to where I live is um, where they make Jack Daniels in Lynchburg, Tennessee. Um, so I collect a lot of the Jack Daniels signs and memorabilia from that kind of thing.
Would you like to ask any questions to me then? I don't know if I gave you that opportunity, but if you've got any questions, I'd probably bet you've got about 5 or 10.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any stupid questions, but I just want to know your feelings of the paranormal.
Paranormal. Well, mine is slightly different compared to most. I interview paranormal guests since November. If you calculate from November to say now, I probably interviewed most likely over 65 guests. This probably the
Yeah,
66 guests. I could be wrong, on that. But yeah, I like to interview them. I like to interview them because I get to know why they do it. I get to know how they feel about it. I get to know why they drive to do it. Because I think that's just fascinating.
yeah,
Me on the other side, I like urbex. I don't, I watch urban exploring often. I even watch paranormal channels too. So people will say, well, if I like paranormal, why don't I do paranormal? The question is, it's not where my passion is. It is slightly weird in that, but most people are different. And I think, urban exploring is another U-turn on paranormal that I have interest in. I've done a video on an abandoned school that's local to me. That was released on Friday. If you want, I'll give you the link and you can check it up. But Monday is where
yeah,
the
definitely.
next video will come out. I was going to release it tomorrow. I had a first strike for community guidelines violation. That's slightly been a nuisance because I don't violate any guidelines. They just give me a strike for no reason, which is slightly
Yeah.
bizarre. So I gotta wait now till Monday, unfortunately. But yeah, yeah. So like I said, I like urbex. I like to interview paranormal. If they were urbex teams, like a lot of them, I would mix and match it. Probably do paranormal Saturday and urban Sunday. But because of the lack of teams that I know of and can be able to get reach, that has proven a little bit of a
Yeah.
problem. Because I've noticed a lot more that there's loads of paranormal teams and a little less of the urban. So
Yeah.
you got to choose your biting point. You can't really have two as much as I would like as a podcaster myself. Because
Yeah.
if I could find the urban teams, there would definitely be a mix and match going on. But because of the low
Oh
volume,
yeah.
you can't do it. You can't do it if it's low volume.
Yeah. I agree with you. I like the urban explorers as myself. I watch a lot of those videos. And I think sometimes that does sort of go hand in hand as, abandoned places, the history behind them and things of that nature. But I agree with you. I like those as well.
So on the cusp then, as we talk about videos and quality, what would you give your viewers? So when they come on to a video, like I said to every podcast, the first 10 minutes, not first, the first 10 seconds is crucial. How would you make that video enough, to make people stay? Because if you notice on statistical records, people could click on for 5 seconds and click back off. They could be watching Ben Phillips after the 5 seconds. So how would
Yeah.
you get that viewer intrigued in that first 10 seconds?
Yeah, I think you covered some of it earlier. I think having a good intro to that video keeps people intrigued to see what's coming.
What
Maybe
was what was your vision on it on a personal scale? What would you do? Would you do that like I suggested, or would you do another thing just to get the viewers intrigued? Because there are
um
limited options, aren't
yeah, I think the your idea with the smoke was a great idea. I also think maybe you know uh, clips of videos that show more evidence, those kind of things would um, keep people intrigued enough to hopefully watch more of your video.
there? If you could eliminate one weakness or limitation, what would it be? What's that one weakness that you may have or still have? But if you could eliminate it, what weakness would you evaporate?
Um, I think the one weakness that I have, along with probably a lot of other people, is believing in myself, believing in my own hard work that I do. I think that's what would be more confidence in what I'm doing and those kind of things. I think that would be the one I would eliminate.
How often do you spend them with regards to making content and getting out there? Because, as you said, work is slightly on a crusher. But if you could, sum up a weekly sort of hours, do you do, say, 12 hours doing your side hobby? Do you do 10, 12 hours, whether it's research, looking at other channels, seeing what they do compared to what I do? Or, you know, if you had to put like a time period on how much you spend with regards to what you do on a side business, is it quite, you know, time costing in trying to map out the seconds?
Yeah, definitely. It's one thing to go out and do investigations and then you have to go through the evidence um, and then you throw YouTube or Instagram or any social media on it at that aspect. It takes a lot of hours. And I think that's sort of one reason I've been sort of slacking on the content on YouTube is um, just going out and getting the evidence, and especially here lately. But um, I think uh, probably I probably spend over 20 hours a week doing on a regular basis doing the investigations. Like I say, I try to go every other day, um, several hours at a time. Um, but then on top of that is probably a lot more just going through the evidence and then trying to put content out there.
Looking back now, though, do you think, I should have not done this yet? I should do it when work commitments slow down the burner. Because, as you said, you are deployed heavily on what's keeping your income flowing. Would you think this is getting way too stressful? Because the thing is, I give you this piece of advice. If you go into YouTube, you've got to enjoy it, and with the time constraints you may have, that must affect it. Where you must think you're committed to do it, but not enjoying it because of how long it is and how eventful it is.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think at times it becomes to a point where you just have to sort of take a step back,
And
which
re-examine. Do
affects.
you think this is the best category of the limited amount of hours that we may have? Then we've got 20 hours. We've got to make a big investigation, edit it, and done. 20 hours is no less than 20 minutes. You know,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And yeah, and that's something I've come to find out that's very difficult is um, how much content it takes to make a 15-20 minute video, um, those kind of things. But yeah, definitely um, the paranormal, you don't always catch something ever on every investigation, and I think that makes it more difficult to put content out there. But I think of those other ideas that you had as far as the Q&As and the meet and greet things. I think those could add to what we're trying to do.
what's your vision then? What can viewers really expect? What's your vision of the channel as a whole? You know, is it bleakful, doubtful? What sort of vision that you have now if you just try to look into the future a bit? What's your vision?
Um, I have a I have a positive vision on what I'm trying to do. I think once I'm over the corona and things hopefully get back to somewhat normal, that I'll be able to put more content
The
out
thing is, it's
there.
never going to be normal. That's the problem. Would you want to have like a third quarantine for doing that one mistake?
Yeah,
You could be doing it fine. Not then 2 days later if you think, well, I'm feeling well again, it's because I've been to the same place or going outside of my catchment area to film something that could wait 2 years. You know, to be
yeah,
honest, I've interviewed another team this month, Shadow Walkers, who was based in the UK. They got the same decision that we have. They haven't been at
yeah,
all on YouTube because they can't go out, and neither could we. And they've done their channel last year, and they haven't and they couldn't pick up the pace if they tried because of the heavy restrictions we
yeah,
have here.
yeah,
So paranormal, as much as people probably like it in Japan or Asia, think of people who's trying to do tooth and nail behind the camera and feeling unwell just for you to watch it. You're like you're working to the tooth to the bone. But probably won't get the viewers for it. You might get the viewers for it, but it'll probably be somewhere in Japan and North Korea.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I think it's um, slowed a lot of people down. Um, but I do think that's where thinking outside the box maybe will help us and you know maybe, like I say, my biggest thing is hopefully doing more live videos and that kind of thing, and attracting more people and that kind of nature. But yeah, I think thinking outside the box is what's going to probably help a lot more groups.
If you had more courage, what would you do differently?
Um, I can't think of nothing right off the top of my head. To me, just doing what I'm doing is
Would you
for
run the
myself is
country
taking
then?
a
Would,
lot
would
more.
you run United States if you had the full courage to do so? Would you run United States?
Um, no, to me
No.
that's a job left to those kind of politician people. I'm I'm not up for that kind of job.
Um. So looking back then on the username as a whole, do you think, you know, yes, it's okay, but I would prefer a change. Would you think a change in the username or in your branding would need a little tweak? Because it's like saying not 9313 Hill, or like something like that sort of show, isn't it? Instead of the one, it's a 993 show.
Yeah, yeah,
As a creator, you must think, yeah, well, I need a name, and 931 came to my head. If a user came on and think, well, why is it called 931? As people think, well, I spent 10 minutes on a name to make it, fancy.
yeah,
Because 931 Paranormal, I understand that it might be a lack of creativity, but when people see the videos, they know it's going to be paranormal. I
Yeah,
understand that you can't make your channel known that it is what people expect, but 99.9% won't even look at the videos, they know what to expect because if they see like a haunted backdrop or a haunted incitement, they know what to expect there. So do you think the name
yeah.
might need a little tweak at some stage?
Yeah, I do. And I'm up for maybe changing the name eventually. Like I say, when I first started, it was just a local thing that um I didn't think at the time, before I started social media, there were that many people interested in the same things I was. Um, but yeah, I think eventually I will probably come up with another name or tweak the name to a point to.
You just gotta tweak it just to make people just to make people think, oh, that's an eye-catching name. Like I said, the first impression's
Yeah,
the key. You wouldn't go for a job interview with a cheeseburger in your hand, would you? you know,
yeah, man.
the first impressions is crucial to sustain a audience.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
What is your biggest regret?
Um, I guess my biggest regret is as far as this goes is that I didn't it's something I've always been interested in, that kind of thing, that I didn't start sooner. Um, and I'm not super old, but I think if I'd have started at a younger age, there would have been um, less of a learning curve at this point. But I think that's my biggest regret, is just not starting sooner.
Um, what inspires you the most?
Um, I think just mainly the research of it, um, the history behind the paranormal, of people investigating the paranormal, being interested in that kind of thing. Um, I think that inspires me more than anything, is just to put forth my hardest work to capture the things uh, that we don't fully understand.
Have you been in that situation then, with going to a building, but then it's been destroyed a week after? Have you ever been in that position? Well, this was a good place, and I wanted to film here, and then everyone else has trashed it. Yeah, does that really annoy you, considering there is a lack of buildings, probably where you are, or in the country most likely, and then people are using them as an easy target, really, to vandalize the remains of it.
Yeah, definitely. We deal with that all the time here, especially where I live. There's not a whole lot to do. There's not a lot of extracurricular things for the young people. So um, when something becomes, when somebody says that building's haunted, it becomes a place for especially young people to go and vandalize, and um, it becomes difficult to find a place because nobody wants to let you in at that point because they're afraid that everybody's going to vandalize it, and that it's going to become more popular. And um, the old hospital that I investigated here, the owner's gotten to the point where he doesn't even want, he doesn't mind videos and those kind of things, but he don't want the name mentioned just because of the vandalism that's occurred there.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's annoying, isn't it? What gives them the right to vandalize a perfect building when urbans or yourselves can just go in with a video camera and film it. It's just a little bit of a idiot, really, isn't it? Because they don't know the history of that building. They don't know why people would want to film it. They just see it as an easy target, and that's where urban
Oh yeah,
becomes more harder because you got to travel internationally to find something that isn't destroyed. Like I don't know whether you're
yeah,
Pontins, a holiday camp. They shut most of their sites probably 5 years ago. If you go there now, would probably be nothing of it, because people are starting to
yeah,
start fires and trying to demolish it even further, which is quite there's a damage to the community and it's a damage to people who could film something, and earn from it because that one video, like I said, is a biting point. You gotta find the grill. That video that you could be doing
yeah,
could be so
yeah,
popular for viewers to see, and that could give you a hit and no problem. It's all about finding a
yeah,
grinding point, and that once you find that grinding point, results are fully fledged.
yeah,
But these views are, well, they don't understand it, do they
yeah.
really? So what's your favorite subject then? Are you do you like art? Do you like that sort of, you're an artist, or, do you do any drawing or some sort?
No, my wife went to school for art. So she does a lot of artwork. I'm not very artistic. I can't draw that kind of thing, but I do enjoy looking at it. I do enjoy seeing the things that she creates, and sometimes it's difficult living with an artist um, because they get into so many different things. But I do enjoy watching her create the things that she creates.
Do you speak any languages?
Only English.
That's good. If I was a Welsh speaker, you would understand what I'm saying, would you?
No.
Yeah, well, I can't speak
No,
the language either, so it is quite. I do regret really not knowing other languages, because I had a guest on last month, I believe, or last week, and there was a kind of a language barrier, but luckily Google Translate is an excellent tool for that. But it's because when the
yeah.
conversation is more talking and waiting for a reply, you've got to type the next thing in, and then it can be a little bit more tiresome, but you got to give and take. That not everyone's going to speak the same language. I wish I could speak more languages, trust me, but it's not something I could ever learn myself. But it's just fantastic how the internet is there really to provide you with that in case this was ever a problem.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, yeah, I wished I knew at least in our country Spanish. We have a lot of Hispanic families and things. I think that would come in handy at times. But I've tried to learn a little bit, but sort of beyond what I can learn. I guess I can learn a little bit, but remembering how to speak it is the hardest thing for me.
Do you watch any TV shows then? What do you read a book? As would you do like a 7 day no Wi-Fi challenge? If you did, where would you find your entertainment? Would it be board games? I always ask this because when you finish from your work shift and something, you think, I'll do some research before I go to bed. But then when you notice, I think, oh, I'll have an hour of research, then turns up to 2 hours because you're fascinated so much by it. It could, before you look around, it could be
Yeah,
3 hours. If you ever think,
yeah.
I'm tired and I'm going to be cranky in the morning if I continue doing this research business. Would you do like a 7 day no Wi-Fi challenge? Or do you think that's asking for a little bit too much, considering how enthused you are by what the internet can provide?
I think it would be difficult for me. I think I could do it. Um, I do read a lot of books as far as I'm currently in college as well. Um, I'll have a master's degree in May in criminal justice. Um, so I do read a lot of books on law and that kind of thing.
Would you watch a TV
And we do
program,
have
not necessarily reading?
what? Yeah, I would rather watch TV. um,
Well, what would you
uh,
watch?
you know,
CSI.
I do like CSI. I, I I like a lot of the like chef shows like Hell's Kitchen. I watch a lot of it with
So,
Gordon
what's the
Ramsay.
one thing about you that we wouldn't know? What's that one thing? Are you like a secret TikTok dancer?
Oh no, no, not at all. Probably the one thing that I try to uh, keep out of my um, social media life is my career. Um, I am a police officer. Um,
Police officer.
that's my yes sir, and uh, and I try to keep that separated from the paranormal thing.
So you're a
Just
police
because I don't.
officer and you're an investigator. That is, so you like a qualified policeman.
Yeah, yeah, yes sir.
That's
I've been a
good.
police officer for 8 years.
That's mad. So you've gone out there then, you
Yeah.
film content that's against the legislation as being a police officer. Yeah. Oh, I never found out about this about a guest. I never thought I would be interviewing a police officer slash paranormal investigator and who could be
Yeah,
breaching the rules
definitely,
themselves.
definitely. um, But
Well, at least you're off duty, so
and
now you're an investigator until you got the uniform on, I guess.
oh, definitely, definitely, and that's why I focus so much on not trespassing or anything of that nature. I always make sure I have permission to go where I'm go and record where I record. So, uh, but I think that's good advice nowadays, especially for everybody, is just to be
So,
careful
do
where
you
you
work
go
as a
and
police
what
officer now then, or do you do something
I
different?
do.
Oh, that's your job as a police
Um,
officer.
that's my job. Yes, yes.
Uh,
Um,
what do you do as a
um,
police officer? Are you like a call taker or assist your colleagues, or is it like an old day job that, or because I think police officers it's like working full time every time, isn't it really, especially with this pandemic.
yeah. Yeah, I'm a patrol sergeant, so I answer calls. I supervise several guys, and um, but yeah, that's what I do normally on a daily basis.
Um, so when you go, start your morning, do you start your morning with a tea, a newspaper, and watch, breakfast TV, or do you start with phone, tea, then newspaper, or vice versa? Because when you get up in the morning, you
Um,
always got to check your news feed, don't you? Because that's every person's duty is to check their Twitter feeds.
oh, definitely. The first thing I have to do is definitely have coffee. Um,
Yeah.
my day doesn't start without the coffee, so that's definitely my first thing.
Yeah. So when can we see a next video of you then? Where are you? Is it going to be dropping on the 29th or is it 28th this month because it's a leap year?
Um, I should have it out. The one I've been working on, I should have it out within a week from today. Um, I don't like too much
Have you
more
had
on
that
it.
problem where when you was editing it and all your hard work come to nothing when it says delete?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
bet you must
I
be.
have, and
I bet you must want to punch your laptop screen by looking at half hour to an hour's work each day and it didn't exactly bring you anything.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I've had to start over on several videos that I've been trying to make. So um, that has been a difficult thing. Is just and sometimes where I live, our internet service is not the best at times, so um, that can make it a little slower in progress too.
Well, if it's not good for the second meat, you need to sit on the chimney.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Well, don't break your leg though.
Oh,
I don't need to sue me, considering you're a police officer. I don't need to give me a fine.
oh no, no.
So would you like to come back on the show then? Would you like to come back next month? Because
Oh,
you're an inspirational to our audience, and I'd be delighted to get for you to return.
yeah, definitely. If you'll have me back, I'll definitely
I'll
be
de-
there.
I'll definitely have you back. I have every guest
Yep.
back at some stage. That's the art of me being a podcaster. It wouldn't be right to
Yeah,
say, well, you filled in my Sunday. I won't have you back now to next year because what reputation I have then.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
So what would you like to book a date in advance then, considering your work schedule? Or are you practically available on a weekend
Yeah, I'm available every weekend.
now? Every
Um,
weekend.
you just
What
let
day
me
will suit
know,
you
and I
best
and
then? 'Cause I don't think would a Saturday suit you more convenient or a Sunday? What's your favorite
probably
day for a podcast?
um Saturday or Sunday. Either one to work.
You don't mind. You don't mind.
No, not at
Excellent.
all.
Well, what's the time difference there then? Is the time difference going to be a barrier then? Because I do an afternoon and an evening session. So, which one would you more likely like to be on?
Probably the evening.
Evening.
Right now it's 12:35 here.
Ah, a 65 here.
Yeah, yeah,
How about then Saturday, say 8:15? Would that be all right? Would that be a
yeah.
good
That'll be
time for you?
fine.
Good.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
All right. Do you want to be on the end of March or middle? What's your preference? How much of a
It's
gap do
totally
you
up
want to
to
give it?
you. Yeah, it's totally up to you.
No, no,
The
no.
middle of March.
It's up to you. You're the
Yeah,
guest. I work around you. That's how I do my job.
yeah. The middle of March will be fine.
Middle of March. Well,
Yeah.
before you go then, do you know of any other teams, if you do, that happily want to be interviewed by me? Send them my way, because I've interviewed a guest before you, and she didn't have any much confidence. But now, when she's on the show, she's definitely going to come back next time. Thing is, when if people got zero confidence, they got to work it up, because otherwise they're always going to be feeling like it, where people, can't take up these opportunities because of the confidence. Build it up, well, you're not going to go nowhere.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I booked you for the middle of March then. What's your name? I don't know whether I catch it or not.
My name is Douglas Allen.
Douglas Allen. Well, my name is Tom Roberts, and I thank you for coming on to the podcast. If you ever get recommended saying how was your latest podcast, or if you want to share it out there after this, say it was 10 out of 10 or
Oh,
100 even
definitely,
better.
definitely. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, well, it's been a pleasure to have you on. What is it? What's your plan now for the afternoon ahead? Is it more research or gaming or colouring in or word searches?
Well, I'll probably go and try to hang out with the kiddos for a little while and see
Kiddos.
what they got going on. So probably, yeah, probably be some games or something of that nature. Yeah,
Well,
just
have a
hanging out
break
with the
from the
kids.
internet, play Connect 4, and you'll be on your way.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you
It's
for
been
your
a
time
pleasure.
then,
Thank you for
Douglas.
having me.
It's been a pleasure to interview you, and all the best for your YouTube career, because on the next time when you come on the show, you could have some great news for us once again, which would be a pleasure to see.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Thank you
And
so much.
increase your upload strategy. It's the key to free. There's the key to get noticed.
I agree. I agree. Yes, sir.
Thanks for your time, Douglas, and have a great
All right.
afternoon. See ya.
All right. Thank you.